The Charlotte real estate market is getting very interesting. I get it. There's a lot of confusion about the interest rate moves, how this impacts our local market. But here's the thing. In this video, I'm gonna break down 5 key trends that you're not gonna wanna miss. This data just came out, released from our MLS, and I cannot wait to share it with you. Stick with me until the end. Your future self will not regret it. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mitch, your expert real estate advisor. Now, if you're looking to make a move, whether it's locally or even across the country, my team and I would love to be a resource for you. Just click the link below, fill out the simple form you see here on the screen, and I will be in touch. Now, I first want to talk about pricing. If you've seen a lot of my market updates, I track 20 of the top submarkets here in the Charlotte area, and you can see those on the screen. Now, there's some notable things to point out about these markets. Overall, out of all 20, through September, we've seen a 7.2% average sale price appreciation across all of them. Now, that may seem like a lot to you, whether you're maybe watching this from out of state and maybe different areas of the country. I get it. Our area certainly continues to defy the odds, in my opinion, given the area that we're in, the amount of people that are moving here. Now, I did a previous video on this, where there are exactly 117 people a day moving into our city, which just passed Atlanta for the first time in history for the amount of people moving in. So the demand is certainly high. And this is affecting a lot of these market prices because here's the reality of the situation. We still don't have enough homes for the amount of people moving in. Now, a few things I want to touch on. The submarkets you see here in green, some of them had double-digit price appreciation. You can see Lake Norman and Cornelius, of course, are on there. If you're familiar with Charlotte, that is about 25-30 minutes north. Very desirable area. And of course, Lake Norman is one of the largest freshwater lakes, man-made, in the country. Very desirable, 500 miles of shoreline. No surprise there. The prices have remained strong and in my opinion will continue. Now you have Concord, Lake Wylie, Matthews, and Mint Hill, which are all kind of on the outskirts of Charlotte, right? These are very popular areas, of course, for people if you're looking to commute into the city. You want a little bit more space to kind of have room for you and your family. This is the area I would certainly look in. But then as you go down the chart here, you can see Salisbury, Charlotte, Belmont, Waxhaw, even Mooresville, right? Almost over 7% price appreciation. And then of course it goes down from there. Now, Denver and Uptown have seen some struggles. And I can tell you, Uptown, like a lot of downtowns around the country, took a major shellacking here with the COVID issues that we saw over the last 3 years. The downtowns from the work from home really emptied out, and that caused a big price pressure on those condos that are downtown in Uptown. Now, what's happening is those condos, right, are continuing to lose value because, let's be honest, this work from home movement isn't going anywhere. I know you have companies that are calling people back into the office, but in my professional opinion, that's probably going to continue to go forward for people because, let's be honest, myself included, who doesn't like the flexibility of being able to work remotely and, of course, still get all your work done? Now, overall, right, total price for all 20 submarkets average is $583,000 in Charlotte. Now, of course, there's a lot of variation in this number. This is the average. If you're, of course, looking for a luxury property, right, that's going to go significantly up depending on where you're looking. And then, of course, we also have inventory that's slightly less than the average. But this will give you a good gauge on kind of what's happening here on prices. Now, you may be watching this from other states, right? California, Florida, Texas, and even in the Northeast, and you may look at these numbers and you're going to say, Mitch, these are very inexpensive. And that may be true compared to where you're moving from. And if that is the case, then you just answered one of the main reasons why people are coming to our area. Now, let's talk about the next trend, which is inventory. So for the same 20 submarkets that I track, you can see here on the screen what the month supply has been for each of these submarkets versus August 24, and of course going into September of 24. Now, a couple things I want to point out. You can see that there's been some serious price inventory increases in some of these markets. Concord, look at Uptown, 11% up, Belmont, Mooresville, Charlotte's even up 10%. So you can see that the inventory supply of homes is starting to increase, which is something you really need to pay attention to. Overall, we're at about 2.9 months supply of inventory. And what this means is that we roughly have, let's call it 3 months supply of homes. As of right now, if no other homes came on the market, it would take about 3 months to sell through. So why is this so important to you, maybe as a buyer or a seller? Well, if you're a buyer, of course, the more supply that's on the market is going to be much more advantageous for you, of course, to get a deal and find what you're looking for, because there is less competition. If you're a seller, and I see this a lot, you got to be really strategic on how you price your house, because there is more competition popping up. We did go through, like many other markets have, a biblical period of price appreciation in Charlotte where literally you felt like you could put any price on something and it would sell. That is no longer the case. You have to be very strategic in how you price your home, which is something I'd really want to iterate here and make sure you understand. And then, of course, as a buyer, there are more options out there. There's more supply than what we currently had. But I will say we are still low. We're at 2.9 months overall for all 20 submarkets. Typically, in a balanced market, you'll see anywhere between, I would say, 3.5 to 5.5 months supply, depending on where you are in the dynamics, of course. So I would say at this point, in many markets in Charlotte, we are still in a seller's market, but things are starting to shift. So if you may hear from friends and family, oh my God, the market's crashing. No, in my opinion, okay, we are going back to a more balanced market. This is a normal flow of inventory that's starting to come on the market. And of course, we'll see sell through this inventory like we have in any normal market. Now, this video, of course, I'm shooting it as of October, and I will tell you that every single year, like clockwork, the fourth quarter, you'll always see of course, sales dip, and there'll be more inventory because there's a lot less buyers that are looking to buy and move around the holidays, such as Thanksgiving and Christmas. But as we move into 2025, of course, I would expect that this inventory, right, will probably remain. Some of it may increase depending on what the Fed does with these rate cuts. I don't have a crystal ball, but I will tell you this, it's a good idea if you're considering buying or selling to keep a close eye on these inventory moves. Now, I want to take a quick minute to talk about the key trends that are happening right now in Charlotte so you can put a little context to what's currently happening versus the historicals. As you can see here on the screen, I'm showing you the month supply graph for the city of Charlotte for single-family homes, all price points, and how much inventory we have had since 2004. Now, the most incredible thing you see here is this big jump up, right, which was the rise coming from 2008 and up. And you can see at the peak, we had 13.2 months of inventory, which was a lot of homes for sale. Charlotte got hit very hard during 2008. There was a mass amount of foreclosures here in the city, in the surrounding areas. And like many big metropolitans in 2008, it really made a big impact. So as we move forward here, right, you can see the inventory, of course, was burned off. And then we get into around 2015, you had 4 months, right? And then, of course, it kept on going down. Right around 2 months in 2018, we hit 2019 and we're at 2.3. And then, of course, the COVID era, we went way down here, almost down below 1 month of supply, which was absolutely historical. And then now you can see we are slowly starting to creep back up here on inventory, but we're still sitting at 2.0 months roughly as of September. So what I want you to take away from this chart in particular is you can see how much inventory, right, we would really need to build to cause what I would consider a price crash. With the amount of people moving in, we just do not have enough supply on the market to create a situation where prices will drastically decrease, in my opinion. And this chart kind of gives you that view, right, of really how much month supply that would take. Because we do know in 2008 we had a huge price pressure and drops, but we had 13 months supply. We are well below that right now in Charlotte. Now, another thing I wanted you to look at is the days on market. So right now in Charlotte, to sell a home, you're looking at about 30 days. And that is a normal market flow. About 30 to 45 days is normal for a home to go under contract. However, again, if you look back at history, you can see how high those days on market crept up coming out of 2008. Almost 111 days on the market to sell back in 2012, which must have been very painful for many, as I could imagine. But now, of course, you see we came down significantly in 2019, it was roughly 36 days, right? And now we are sitting here at 30. So you can see we're coming back to a normal market. So if you are a seller and you're considering selling, whether this quarter or maybe early 2025, 30 days is a good gauge to keep in the back of your mind to sell your property. In regards to interest rates, this has been probably the hottest topic that has been plastered all over the news, and for very good reason. Now, we don't have a crystal ball here of exactly what's going to happen, and I'm not going to speak to you here and tell you that I do. However, I've done a lot of research on this topic, and I did pull from Goldman Sachs what they are predicting here over the next several Fed meetings. And as you can see here on the screen, Goldman Sachs now expects a series of consecutive 25 basis point cuts through June of 2025. So, in my opinion, I think that if this is true, those consecutive cuts as we move closer to 2025 and through 2025 will release some more inventory and create more activity in the housing market. Now, I did a video on this. 86% of U.S. outstanding mortgage balances are below 6%. And this is what we call a lock-in effect. There are many people, maybe you included, that have a low-rate mortgage, and it's very difficult, of course, to let go of that for another home that now is significantly higher in sale price. So in my opinion, I think these rates are going to have to come down into somewhere in the low fives to unlock a lot of this inventory pressures that we're seeing here in many markets, but particularly in Charlotte. So what would be my prediction here on where the market's headed in Charlotte? Here's what I think. We have a significant influx, and will continue to have, people moving into our area. We know we have 117 people moving in a day. That's a big time population increase that's occurring here in our city. We also know that there are not enough homes currently on the market to supply the amount of demand that's building and is currently here that needs homes for sale. We also know that, of course, the sale prices, right, are continuing to rise due to the lack of inventory that we're seeing. So the available homes that are on the market, you have fewer homes and more people chasing those same homes, so the prices continue to rise. And lastly, we do know that the rate cuts will have a massive impact here on the housing market coming in this quarter, fourth quarter, going into 2025 and beyond. So with those four dynamics at play, my prediction is Charlotte will continue to see price growth in the real estate market. However, I'm not saying that the price growth is going to continue at what it was right now, 7%. I think we're going to come back to a more modest pace price appreciation, somewhere between 3 to 5% a year is probably what you'll be able to expect. But these rapid price gains that we've seen in many of these areas, I think it will begin to subside as more people and inventory comes onto the market and helps release this pressure that we're feeling here in our city. So that is the update for Charlotte's real estate market as of September of 2024. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If it brought you any value at all, please do not forget to like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And again, if you're considering making a move, whether it's locally here or maybe across the country to our area, I would love to be a resource for you. Just click the link below this video, fill out this simple form, and I will be in touch. But again, I will talk to you next week.